The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, Dr. Vic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, and welcome. This is Dr. Vic, and you are listening to another episode on the Mindful Experiment. This is episodes that you have that are just with me, no interviews, just being raw and real with you, sharing something from my heart that I may have gotten inspiration from a meditation, something I may have seen, something I may have experienced, something I have learned. This is one of the episodes I get to just share from my heart. And really, I don't have really any vision, a goal or objective to this. It's really just being raw with me, and I'm and just hearing what has come up. So before we dive in to this one that I think is a prevalent issue that we see in our society today, and I'm going to share some of the things that I have done to break out of that mold and be able to help myself calm and be a little bit more centered because of making this change. I think you can find some beauty in this also. Before we begin, though, I have an online course coming up January 21st. We had to change the date a little bit due to some scheduling conflicts. But January 21st is when we're starting the online class all about your vision, all about purpose, soul's purpose. And in this program, we really dive into your vision and understanding how to tap into it and know when you really are connected with your vision. And I kind of help you in that process to guide you along the way. And then we start understanding laws of the universe and how they work and how the universe is governed by specific laws. But those laws also govern nature and they govern us. And as I always tell people, and I said this in my book, in order to be a better player in a game, any game, it could be sports, whatever, playing a video game, it could be a board game, the better you understand the rules, the better you can apply and be more efficient in the game. And so I share the game of life, the rules that apply to life, and how you can utilize them to help you achieve your soul's purpose, your vision, after you discover what that is. And then from there, we talk about how to be in flow and how laws work to create whatever it is you desire and how that works. So it's a great program. Check it out. Go visit www.empoweryourreality.com. Click on classes. It is the 5-week online course there. We are starting on January 21st. We do have a limited amount of people that will be coming on. So I like to keep the group small so that it's a lot of intimate. You get an individual experience through a group experience. And there's some great, you can read there. I have about 12 different success stories of people who've gone through the program. And you'll see that they had spiritual transformations. They had life-altering transformations. They learned tools that not they will just apply now, but they can see applying in their whole entire life. So I recommend going to check that out. That's my commercial. That's all I got for today. So let's go ahead and talk about something that, again, like I said, I see in society often. And what it is this desire to have instant gratification. Now, it's something that is prevalent in our society in America specifically. And as I interview more people internationally, I'm starting to notice that it's there also. And when we look at instant gratification, short-term attention spans, we don't like to be uncomfortable. We want to get to the fastest solution possible. There's a concern that happens for me as I see this more and more. And one of the biggest reasons why I have such a huge concern is because I want you to think of yourself the last time you were ever in a fearful state or in a dangerous state. right? Imagine some time that you were in an endangered state when something was going on, it was serious, and you had to make quick decisions, right? You're in a fear state. It's something that your survival depends on it, and you are doing all that you can to think of the fastest ways of whatever comes up to make a decision that works for you to keep you in survival, right? To keep you moving forward. And when I look at this in society, we're kind of in the same perspective. And most of us are doing this unconsciously. We're in an endless state of survival, looking for the fastest fix to correct or help make us feel better, lose weight, give us better health, and so forth without doing the work. And in the nervous system, in part of the brain, you have three parts to it. And not to get too deep into the science, but I'll be very specific, very straightforward. There's a part of the brain that's it's a couple of million years old, known as the reptilian brain. This is known as your brainstem. Now, the brainstem is really designed for survival, breathing, food, your basic needs that keep you in a surviving mode to to live, to keep those demands in check so that you can keep getting what you need to survive overall, basically. The second layer of the brain is known as the subcortex. Now, this deals with like emotions, feelings, those type of considerations, and it's just where your emotional levels are at and how you are. And then there's a deeper layer that is known as the cortex. This is the outer part of the brain. This is what kind of separates us from pretty much almost every single other mammal in the world. Thought. We have thoughts. And this is planning, organizational thought, planning, past and future thinking, all these types of things that come into play. Now, reptilian brain is more of your survival brain. Your cortex is more as your thriving part, because in reptilian, it's all about survival. It's the survival of the fittest. There is a danger all around us. We just have to survive. How can I get through this without being harmed as much as possible? How much can I sacrifice? And in survival mode, in the reptilian brain, you're always looking for instant gratification. What's the fastest thing I can get? I don't care if this is going to kill me in 10 years. I'm happy I'm going to have this right now. Right? Cortex part of the brain says, you know what? Yeah, that's going to probably kill me in 10 years. You know what? What can keep me living longer and healthier? What's going to give me good thoughts? What's going to allow me to do the work at a consistent basis over a long period of time to get what I have to get to? Because I know I'm going to get there eventually. I just have to do the work. Right? That's the cortex part of the brain. And so the thing is, in society, where do you think we are? Are we on the cortex side or are we on the reptilian side? And once you start to see that, we are more on a reptilian side. We're very reactive, right? We're looking for the fastest fix. We want to feel instant gratification. We want to have that dopamine response. That's why we're addicted to Facebook. That's why we're addicted to social media. That's why we're addicted to the drinks. That's why we're addicted to the food. That's why we're addicted to the negative talk. That's why we're addicted to the drama. That's why we're addicted to negative news. That's why we're addicted to all this bullshit, because, to be honest, this is why this creates that negative spiral to keep you in that loop. It's what's that next quick fix. It's what that next dopamine response that's going to give you that, oh, yes, this is what I needed. Oh, I feel so much better. This is what I wanted. Give me that extra glass of wine. And don't get me wrong, guys. I have nothing wrong with alcohol. I'm not going to put on my doctor hat, but I have nothing wrong with alcohol to a specific degree. But when you're using it to just try to ease your mind, if you're using it just to try to unwind, there's a problem there. Because there should be, you're the greatest. And here's the thing, guys. This is why I'm not an advocate for drugs or plants, medicine, herbs, whatever you want to call it. Because the greatest resource you have is you. When I was in my spiritual training, energy medicine background, when I was doing training in there, I always used to hear that the greatest resources you have is yourself, and your body can create whatever it is you need. You just got to learn how to tap into it. And I was like, are you kidding me? How can I get a state of ecstasy within my body from my mind? I mean, I know my mind's powerful, but how can this happen? And through the work, I've learned and experienced now how I can get into bliss states, how I can really find inner joy, even if it's only short term, because I'm human. I have negative thought processes too, and I have a lot of stuff I'm trying to work through to get into a higher state of consciousness and a higher vibration. But it's one of those things where I take time to really try to focus on that and get into that higher cortex part of the brain. And so society, we are always in this anxious state. We're always in this reactiveness. We're always being the noise. And as long as we keep getting distracted by the noise of life, the stories that we buy into that don't fulfill us, the belief systems that we've given power to, and all the things that how we perceive the world, it's that process that keeps us in this state of reptilian. And that's how we're controlled. That's how they control our minds. And I'm not trying to get conspiracy-like. I'm just saying if you're in a state of fear all the time, you're programmed to be reactive. Now, you may take my word or you may think I'm crazy, but let's just put it in perspective. I could talk about healthcare because that's where my strengths are at. That's my foundation, right? That's where I'm a chiropractor. I've been doing this for years. And one of the things I see is people make decisions based on reactiveness. How fast can I get quick care? How fast can I get better? That's what I care about. Instead of not looking at it from a perspective, right? Conscious thinking, cortex brain. Well, you know what? I know that this has been here for a while. I know that I program my body in every single step of the way to be this type of state. My genes have expressed in a certain way because they're used to be in that pattern. So I know this is going to take a very long time for me to get out of this state and help my body. And then I need to teach it, that I need to continue to teach it to keep it at a state of being optimal, right? That's a pretty well higher cortex, non-reactive, non-instant gratification type of mindset. Unfortunately, most people aren't like that. Most people are like, okay, I have this condition. How long is it going to take for me to feel better? How long is it going to take for me to get to this state? Right? We're very reactive. We live a life that's very suicidal. And what I mean by that is we eat foods that are not food. We allow thoughts to come into our brain that are negative. We allow for weeds to grow in our garden within our mind. We allow for negative, unfulfilling relationships that keep us in that state. We allow for sedentary lifestyles. We allow for eating foods that are negative to our health because we want short-term gratification. We take medications that give us short-term effects but long-term negative side effects. We look for the shortest correction, right? We do this in health in every aspect of our life. We live a suicidal life. I'm amazed and I'm blown away how the body can still keep moving forward after how much we poorly treat it. This is the temple of your body and we treat it like crap. And, for me, people look at me and go, "Wow, you don't have fun the way you eat. You don't have fun. You don't live once in a while." And I'm like, live. I'm living every day. I'm not going to put garbage into my body because, just because, everyone does it or I have an addiction and I can't man up to say, hey, you know what? This is what I need to do to take care of my body and nurture it. I'm not going to harm this body. I'm going to keep it as vital as I can because this is the one vessel I have to experience this life right here, right now. So in life, we are always looking for that. In business, finances, right? How many people play the lotto? How many people play the lotto to hope to win? I've seen family members do this for years. Growing up, it was all about, man, if I get the lotto, what I can do with that. The things I'll buy, the life I'm going to live. And it's like, you're never going to get there. I mean, let's be real. The odds are so against you. But yet we look for that instant gratification. Business. How many times people get sold into a quick fix? I fell into these guys. I'm sharing stuff with you guys that I've done, right? I've been in business and I was seeing, I used to be part of multi-level marketing companies and I remember they would show me the results of what they can get to. They'll show me how much work was taken to get there, but then they'd be like, you can get this and this would be for your life and wow, the money you're going to make. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, sign me up. And then 3, 4, 6 months in, I'm going, not happening. This happened to me in chiropractic, right? I was told, well, you get out there, you do these things, and you're going to become this. This is what successful chiropractor looks like, and you can do this. Within a couple of years, you'll be here. Most chiropractors don't even get there. And my journey was completely different. But I'm so blessed I had that journey because it corrected my mindset. It shifted me from instant gratification, and partially entitlement to a state of just understanding to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, and see things that are deeper and more meaningful. And they create a practice in a life that is that. And so, I can go on and on, at sports, in school, in all these different things. People don't focus on the long-term game anymore. And the biggest reason behind that is because we're so stuck in a survival state that we don't even know we are. And as a chiropractor, I see this consistently. When people come in, I just have a lower back issue, that's all. And then I go and do scans, and I'm like, your nervous system is shot. It's not adapting and communicating well to the environment anymore. You're in a state of constant survival, and your body's constantly doing this, and it's wearing and tearing things down, and here's the manifestation of lower back. But there's a lot more than that going on. And the lower back is just an effect, a side effect of living a lifestyle that's in massive stress. So when you're looking at your life, I'm bashing about all the program patterns that we are, but I really want to bring this to the forefront. And my whole goal is to help you see that we've conditioned our brain to be reactive. We conditioned our brain to be in a state that is constantly go, go, go. Do, right? Everyone's telling you what to do. I listen to more people speak, and all they keep saying is what to do. Well, we need to fucking get that out of our language. You got to stop doing. Yeah, that's right. You got to stop doing. If you want to be getting out of this reactive state, stop doing, because what happens is where your mind's at is the reactions of what you're going to do. The mind is going to cause the action. So if you don't center the mind and get it back into that higher cortex plane, the actions that you're going to do are only going to be reactive and not proactive. Because cortex talks about planning. Cortex is thought. It's impulse behavior. It's keeping you more in a higher plane so you can attract things more that you desire. It's more long-term thinking. It doesn't get stressed. It's like, okay, this is where we have to go and this is what we need to do. And it doesn't worry about timelines. It just does the work. So when we look at it from how do we get there then, right? That's the question I'm trying to get you to, is how do we get there? Well, first you have to be. You have to be comfortable where you are. You have to accept that the universe always has your back and it knows way more than any human mind ever put on this planet. Community all put together. You have to understand there's an intelligence. There's something called divine timing. Right? The only work you have to do when it comes to long-term aspects of things is figure out crystal clear what it is you desire, what it is you choose to experience. That's it. It's like going on Netflix and you want to watch a comedy. So you go to the comedy section. You scroll through the comedies until you find something you like. You look at the trailer, the little review of it, read the description, and then all you do is you say, you know what, this is what I want. You click, done. It's going to show up. You're not trying to hope it does. You're not trying to say, maybe this is going to work. Let's see. It happens. And the same concept is true for you choosing what you desire. Now, the work is trusting that it's going to happen. The universe is working for you. You have to show up. You have to do the work. The work is being consistent in your actions of relating to what it is you choose. You can't say you want $1 million, but you keep spending money and gambling it all off. You're never going to get there. You're doing one thing, but your actions are showing something different. You want to focus on how to be. Be comfortable with yourself. Don't get caught up in the whole, I need to be in instant gratification, I need to solve this, right? Because I've been there. You get an uncomfortable feeling, what happens? Survival mode kicks in, reptilian brain gets activated. You're looking for the fastest quick fix just to get you out of that mood. The problem is most of the time that's more sacrifice. Look at our government. American government, all they do is make reactive choices. There's a crisis that shows up. Boom, what's the fastest solution that we can do to solve this? When 2008 happened and the markets were crashing, housing market crashed and so forth, they wanted to, what'd they do? Instead of just letting it ride, all the experts in economics experts were all stating, just let it be. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be painful. But if you just let it be, it will solve itself faster. And what happened is, no, they bailed people out. They were funding money into it. And what they did was they ended up made it being longer than what it was supposed to be. And this is all around the world. You guys can look this up. I forgot what government didn't do that. There was a government that, and I don't know if it was Iceland or I can't remember, but there was a government that went through something very similar, and they didn't bail nothing out. They just let everything ride. And they were back up and rocking and rolling in a couple of years, where America took 7 to 8. So being okay in your skin, being okay with what it is you choose, and understand that what you're experiencing is temporary. If you don't like what you're feeling, it's temporary. Because for me, when I had a bad feeling, anxiousness, pain, darkness, whatever you want to call it, I would get anxious and anxiety would kick in, and I just look for that fastest solution. Now I kind of take it in, I go meditate on it, I breathe through it, and I try to understand why it's there. Because the universe is always providing for you, so you have to understand, what's the universe bringing this to you for? Is it helping you reflect to focus on something that you need to work on? Because most of the time that's what it is. And you want to ask those questions and get deep with it. But be okay with being with yourself. And understand you don't have to have the solution. Take some deep breaths. Here's a great business tip I've had, and I've used it in business in so many ways, and it's worked out so wonderful for me. I made a rule in life that whenever I do a business deal, sit down, negotiate, whatever it may be, I never make a decision on the spot. I won't. I go into a meeting, I'm not making a decision on that day. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to talk, we're going to hear everything out, I'm going to sound good. If they're kind of being pushy on making the decision, I'm out. Because for me, I want to sit and reflect on it. For me, I want to meditate on it. For me, I want to be. Now, most people, I've had business deals where the deal was very promising. It was awesome. It was lucrative. It was unreal. And I was just like, let me think about it. And they were like, we're not going to offer this to anybody else. You take it or leave it. And I was like, if you're going to be pushy about this, then I'm out. And I've been criticized for that. But for me, the way I work is I need to reflect. I need to take time on it. I don't want it's a reptilian brain, right? Oh, solution, boom, let's do it. And instead, it's more like, let me take some time. Let me think about this. Let me really feel this out. Let me see, is it really going to benefit in the long term? What are the effects? And I look at all perspectives and angles. And then if I feel really good about it, and I go, you know what, this is, I'm feeling like this is what I need to do, then I'm going to go ahead and do it. But I have to feel things out. And the same thing goes for everything else I do in my life. So it's one of those things to hopefully give you that opportunity to just slow down. All right, slow down. Take some time, man. Don't get so caught up in the rush. We live so unconsciously and don't know it. We are so unconscious in life and we don't know it. And I know there's a shift coming and it's happening. And it's one of those things that I see that it's just, I see so much unconscious individuals who are seeking to be awakened but don't know how because they're stuck in a rat race of being in a survival mode all day long. So break out of it. Take some time to focus. Take some self-care. Go ahead and just be in peace mode. Enjoy your being of silence. Be with you. Get comfortable with your own skin. And we'll start there. And I'll carry on some more tips next week as I dive in deeper, and I'll talk about some things that I do to really help keep me in that cortex, to help keep me in a centered place that allows me to not get so caught up in this as I used to. Because I used to be driven by and controlled by the reptilian brain. And now, for the most part, I control it. Not saying it doesn't happen. Things manifest and change. The brain is very wise. It knows how to adapt. And so what your old patterns were will show up differently when you start to rise and evolve and you become more empowered, you become more conscious. You can see the tricks of how that works, but it still has new ways of tricking you also. So any questions, shoot me an email. Check out the program we have coming up. I promise you it is a life-altering program. Check us out on Facebook if you have not. Facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. We also have a private group, guys. We're growing it. We're now putting effort into this to really expand this group. It's going to be a powerful tribe. Come join the Empower Your Reality tribe. It is Powered Reality with Dr. Vic. It's a Facebook group. It's private. Just go ahead and subscribe. Hit join, and then we'll get you on there. I post. I'm starting to do videos about a couple times a week. Private videos for only that group. I do not share it anywhere. On my Instagram page at Dr. Vic Manzo, I will show 1 minute of it, but I put everything on that page. And anything I do, I'm going to start doing some special podcasts that I'll be sharing, audio clips that I'll be sharing on there. Also, I'm going to be doing Facebook Lives and and so much more. So if you want more interaction with me and to join the tribe of amazing individuals who are really looking to empower their reality, to raise their bar to consciousness, to rediscover their greatness and so much more, come in and join me on social media. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you have a blessed and amazing day.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.